Shalom, shalom. Check this out. I want to do a video in regard to the true identity of the Jew, or as I would rather call it, the true identity of the biblical Israelites. Now, of course, there are a lot of people throughout the course of history who have claimed rights to this title, but of course, only one group of people can actually claim that they are the descendants of the biblical Israelites. Now, of course, most people, if I say the word Jew, a certain image comes into their mind. But with these videos, I really hope to dispel or at least shed some light on this common misconception, or as I like to call it, this common deception about who the true nature of the Israelites is and who they are. I'm going to skip a long introduction and I really want to get right into it. It's a lot of information. It's going to be quite a few videos, but what I'm going to try to do is structure them so that they can all be watched independently. And I'm going to break them down by subject so that you don't have to watch, 50 videos. If you want to look at one subject, you can just go to that one subject. This is the first one, so this one is going to be a little more long-winded in the intro. But in the future, I hope to, kind of get into it because it's a lot of information. Okay. Now, pertaining to the so-called Jewish people, and when I say so-called Jewish people, I mean the people that are over there in the land of Israel purporting to be Jews. My claim is that they're not who they say they are, or they're not who they think they are. Because I do believe that some of them think that they truly are Jews, just like some of us for a long time really thought we were Gentiles. However, in the spirit of truth, I think it's only right that the truth come out and be exposed. I'm not anti anybody. I'm anti-lies. I'm pro-truth. So if what I say rubs you the wrong way, I'm not apologizing for it. It is what it is. But this is just the truth. I'm spitting. I'm coming from the Bible. I'm coming from commonly known knowledge. Anything that I say, look it up. If I'm wrong about anything factually, call me out on it. I don't want to be wrong either. Like I said, I like the truth. But for the most part, I'm going to try to keep opinions and emotion out of it because they don't really have a place when it comes to proof and research and all that kind of stuff, okay? So basically, I think a lot of people have to understand this first before they can really understand the context of what I'm talking about. Okay, now you got a group of people, like I said, if I say Jew, you got an image that pops in your mind. You got the locks and yarmulkes and all that. Okay, this is the thing. For a group to claim the rights to be the descendants of the children of Israel of the Bible, they must be able to prove their heritage through Scripture. And what I mean by that is that in this Bible, there are prophecies that pertain specifically to the children of Israel. If a group of people claims to be the children of Israel, but they don't live up to the prophecy, then by default, they cannot be the children of Israel. It's very simple. It's very, very simple. You can make all the claims you want. The world can believe it, etc., etc., etc. But if you don't live up to the prophecies according to the Bible, then you don't fit the bill. It's really that simple. And for all the people who, of course, you're going to think that I'm crazy and, whatever else, just keep in mind that the devil is a great, great, great deceiver. A great deceiver. Deceive the world. Okay? Now, do you think it's outside the realm of possibility that he's going to target the children of Israel as part of his deception? Think about it, okay? Just think about that. That's more of a rhetorical question, but do not underestimate the power of deception and the power of Satan to deceive, okay? Because once you do that, then you're lost, okay? And mind you, all the research I've done, I've literally tried to prove myself wrong, but I've not found anything that makes me believe anything different, okay? So before I get into the meat and potatoes, a couple things starting out that we got to iron out, okay? First of all, this term anti-Semite, throw it out the window. It's a misnomer. It's false. It's false. It doesn't mean anything, okay? Anti-Semite, Semite stemming from Shem, one of the sons of Noah. Listen, there are many people who come from Shem. Not just Jews, not just Israelites. You got Arab people. We can go to the Table of Nations and look at it real quick so I can explain that when you anti-Semitic or anti-Shemitic, it really holds no water as a term because many people descend from Shem. Okay, the so-called Jews, let's say they were the real Jews, they don't have exclusive rights to the progeny of Shem. Okay, all right. Genesis chapter 10. Also known as the Table of Nations. I'm going to prove what I'm talking about right now. Okay, verse 21, chapter 10. Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth, the elder, even to him were children born. The children of Shem, Elam, and Ashur, and Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram. And the children of Aram, Uz, and Hul, and Gether, and Mash. And Arphaxad begot Selah, and Salah begot Eber, and unto Eber were born 2 sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. And Joktan begot Almadad and Shelef, and Hazar Maveth, and Jerah. Excuse me for some of these names, they're kind of difficult to pronounce, so bear with me. And Hadoram, and Uzal, and Diklah, and Abal, and Abimiel, and Sheba, and Ophir, and Havilah, and Jabal. All these were the sons of Joktan, and their dwelling was from Mesha, as thou goest unto Sephar, a mount of the east. These are the sons of Shem, after their families, after their tongues, in their lands, after their nations. Okay? Many sons from Shem. They don't have exclusive rights to say something is anti-Semitic. Okay, and for all intents and purposes, an Arab, Muslim type person cannot make anti-Semitic statements because they too descend from Shem. Okay, it's a misnomer. Throw it out the window. Okay, related to that, they have DNA tests now that they say can confirm that the Jews are the Jews. First of all, who are you comparing their DNA against? Okay, what they say is that their DNA has roots in the Middle East. Again, all these names that I just mentioned have roots in the Middle East. That does not isolate them as one specific group, if they were even who they say they were. Okay, it's another misconception. DNA, that doesn't tell any type of story. All those names I just read, they have origin in the Middle East. Okay, all the DNA tests can tell you is that they have some type of origin in the Middle East, but that does not mean that they're Jewish, or that doesn't prove who specifically they descend from. Again, just plan on your ignorance. Okay, don't just go along with it. Look it up. Like I said, anything I say, look it up. Okay, all right, next on the agenda, let's go to some script and see what the angel of Christ has to say about these people. And again, I'm not anti anybody. I don't hate anybody. I hate lies and I love the truth. So let's get some truth. And what I'm about to read is what the scripture truthfully says. Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Okay, now, of course, that's a very strong verse, and I chose it because it's strong, because honestly, from the stuff I see on the internet, YouTube, etc., a lot of it skates around the issue, and I think we need to go right at it. Okay, and in this verse, we got to pick up a couple of things. First of all, we got to make note that Christ makes mention of the poverty of the real Israelites. You know what I mean? His brethren according to the flesh. Christ was an Israelite also. Okay? It says, and poverty, but in parentheses it says, but thou art rich. And basically what this is saying, as he's addressing the Israelites, he's saying that, you know, I know that economically you are in poverty. You may be in subjugation to other people, etc., on the bottom of a social ladder, whatever, but you're rich because you have the knowledge of Christ and you have the knowledge of the Most High. That's what makes you rich, not the worldly money stuff. In that regard, he speaks to the poverty of the Israelites. Okay, now it's going to be relevant in a minute when I finally get to my first topic. Okay, And also, quite obviously, it says the blasphemy of they which say they are Jews and are not. So right there, we know instantly that there are people, a group of people, etc., that will claim to be Jews but are not. Okay, it's simple. It says it. It's simple. I'm not interpreting. That's just what it says. Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. Okay. So another thing I need to clear up before I go any further, so that you understand why the people, the Israelis over there in Israel and all the other people around the world claiming to be Jews, why they can't be. And again, like I said before, in regard to biblical prophecy pertaining to the Jewish people or children of Israel, a big part of the defining characteristic of a children of Israel is being oppressed, grief-stricken, the bottom of the social ladder wherever we go, captives of other nations, at the mercy of other nations, powerless, basically in a perpetual cycle of helplessness and lostness, okay? And obviously, we got the poverty thing going, and usually when people are in poverty, they're disenfranchised, and you got a lot of other stuff going on too. But the big thing to take away is that the children of Israel, because they are under a curse, because they disobeyed the laws of the Most High, are under a curse. And because they're under a curse, again, the definition or the characteristics that you can see that will define them are these: grief-stricken, bottom of the social ladder, captives, at the mercy of other nations, powerless. Those are just a few. But if you want to sum it all up, just say at the bottom of the social ladder, constantly are victims, seeming to not be able to get out of the position that we are in, okay? And it's going to make more sense as I explain more and more. But first, before I can convince you that myself, other African Americans, and I'll use that in quotation marks so that you guys know what I'm talking about, even though I don't believe in that term, Native Americans, West Indies, we got a lot of other groups of true Israelites. And I'm going to show you later how we do live up to these prophecies. But first, I need to show you how the so-called Jews of today don't live up to the prophecies. Okay? And remember what I just said, and remember what I just read about the characteristics of the children of Israel, the different afflictions that we would suffer: captivity, oppression, depression, economic instability, disease, terrible family structure, black on black crime. I mean, we can go down a list of things that the scripture says would happen to the children of Israel, and we can clearly see that there's only one group of people who lives up to that standard. And what I'm going to show you through all these videos is that the Israelis and other people around the world proclaiming to be Jews, how they do not fit the biblical definition or expectation of what you expect to see from the children of Israel. Okay? Now, I'm just about out of time for this first one, but I really had to get this intro out of the way, okay, just to set the groundwork. So in part 2 of this, I'm going to be talking about banking, okay? That's going to be the first subject. I'm going to be talking about banking and how the Jews of today, their position as far as banking goes, and how that goes directly against what the scripture says would befall the children of Israel, okay? All right, part 2, banking. It's going to be the first subject, and let's get to it.